Here with your questions, Dr. Todd Ellerin, Chief of Infectious Diseases at South Shore Health. And Doctor, we appreciate you coming and sharing your knowledge and your expertise with us. As always, this morning, as we said, 400,000 plus minus teachers join the line for the vaccines. But as you know, there are not enough shots for everyone who's eligible. In your opinion, as a doctor, who should be the priority? And what's the risk of creating too much demand with very little supply still?
Right. So, Maria, obviously, when you have too much demand, you have a lot of people that want to get vaccinated that can, and that's not a good feeling. As someone who has been vaccinated, and I know there's a lot of higher risk people out there, I feel like there's, a sense that, I want other people to have the same protective shield that I do. I think the important thing, though, is that we have to have equity here. So we want the teachers to get vaccinated as soon as possible, of course, but we want other essential workers too as well. People over 65, chronic conditions. So I think that we just have to be patient. The important thing is that I think that it's not mutually exclusive. We want the teachers to get vaccinated as quickly as possible, but the students also to get back into the classroom as quickly as possible. Well, I think both can be done, safely.
Dr. Ellerin, to that point, most teachers are unlikely to be fully vaccinated before the state requires elementary schools to open their classrooms on April 5th. That's closer than we all think. So what's the health risk if they do return?
Right. So an interesting study was just published in Clinical Infectious Diseases, and it basically looked at many different districts throughout Massachusetts, and it looked at schools that had rules of being 3 feet or greater apart and then 6 feet or greater. And the good news is there was no difference in infections in students in either group or teachers in either group. And we also know that multiple studies that have been published by the CDC show that schools are extremely safe and that most infections that occur with students or with teachers are occurring outside of the classroom. So the universal masking and the distancing, even if it's 3 feet, is working. So I'm feeling very good about teachers and students going back to school and going back to school safely.
Isn't it incredible how much we've learned in a year?
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling and overwhelming, but we're making progress. Do you think the infection risk is higher at middle schools or at high schools, Doctor?
I don't, because now remember, it's true that the older kids get infected more than the younger kids, but again, they're not getting infected in the schools because the universal masking and the distancing is working. So, and these, by the way, the study that I just talked about looked at K through 12 schools. So very important. It wasn't just looking at the younger kids.
Right. So this week we've been talking about, Maria just mentioned it, where we have been in the last year. A year ago today, the World Health Organization recognized COVID-19 as a pandemic. Is there any part of the world that avoided an outbreak?
So there have been over 180 countries affected by COVID-19. So the answer is almost no. But I want to point out, obviously, we have the U.S. that is the most number of cases, right? We're going to be closing on 30 million over the next, month or two. And then, of course, there's Maria's favorite country, which is Vanuatu, right? I think I remember Maria being in the Vanuatu.
You know Maria very well.
I know.
Very well.
Okay, and they only have 3 cases. So, and then when you look at Africa, Africa has over 1 billion people, and they've really only had 1.5 million cases. But remember some differences. First of all, they had a very brisk public health response, and the average age in Africa is 19 years, whereas in the United States, the average age is twice that, 38. So there are differences.
And New Zealand did well as well, too.
There are many countries that have done very well. New Zealand, absolutely.
And look how fast things are moving, because as you mentioned, we're going to come up to 30 million people infected with COVID. Yet at least a greater number than 30 million have gotten at least one shot on the vaccination already. So in that year, we have surpassed it. So
that's right. We're vaccinating many more people every day in Massachusetts than the number of cases. And
Great to see you, Doc. Great to see you.
Great reminder, Ed. All right, Doctor, be well. Thank you.